The comeback falls short as the Detroit Tigers drop their first of two games against the San Francisco Giants today on Locked On Tigers.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Wednesday, June 29th, 2022. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. You are going to love this new app that is sponsoring the show. Today's episode is brought to you by the Sports Card Investor app. Welcome to the world of trading cards reimagined. Stay tuned later in the show for more information. It's a super cool thing. We'll do it during our first ad read. You're going to want to check out all of it. It's a great app. So we'll get to that during the first ad break. But we are back. The Detroit Tigers are back playing baseball again. Elephant in the room. No episode yesterday, and I sound like this. I think you can kind of put two and two together. If you're watching on YouTube, I look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Yeah. It's been a rough last couple of days. I have the virus that shall not be named, and yeah, it's not been very fun. It's kicking my behind. There's going to be a lot of sniffles in this one. There's probably going to be some coughing. You might get lucky and get some nose blowing. I don't know. My voice is shot, guys. Like, it really is shot. But I basically, the dilemma in my head was, is me being sick going to make the product so bad that it would be worse than not having an episode at all? So I'm going to try to record a show, and I guess I'm going to upload it. I mean, there's no way I'm going to do a whole show like this at 1:30 in the morning now while feeling like this and go through all this work and not upload it. But I hope that handoff or that dilemma that I'm having is certainly that I chose correctly, I guess, is my point. I hope that I chose correctly, and that the product is not just absolutely horrible. So I apologize for that. I really do. Like I said, it's unavoidable. But I really wanted to do a show. I can't stand not having a show after a weekday game being played. So here we are. The Tigers lost 3-4 to the San Francisco Giants. There's a lot to talk about with this game. I thought that it was it first off, Tarik Skubal started. Anytime Scooby starts, it's going to be talked about stuff. But I think a couple of the bigger things was on the offensive end. I felt like there was actually a lot of performances offensively that maybe not necessarily that were noteworthy, that are like talk about worthy, right? Excuse me. So I think that there is some stuff to talk about, but obviously still in a loss. Well, we can start with the fact that this Carlos Rodon shove fest was like the most predictable, we're barely gonna score, like, I've ever seen in my life. Like, outside of outside of maybe the Yankees series, um, I'm not sure there's been a more predictable, like, we are absolutely not scoring more than 2 runs in this, for as long as Rodon pitches, and that is absolutely what happened. 6 innings, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 0 walks, 4 Ks. His ERA in the year is now 2.62. Rodon's a dog, and we've obviously had to face him a lot over the years, being that he was with the White Sox and everything. So this is a guy that we're used to watching, but not all these players necessarily are used to playing against. And even though we haven't put up much of a fight against him, at least last season, especially he shoved last year. So seeing an old friend in a maybe old nemesis maybe is the better word, in a new uniform, and pretty much a similar result as to what we're used to. So, very unfortunately predictable. Now the thing is, you did get 7 hits off dog, right? You got 7 hits off of him, but you're only able to muster 1 run. He didn't walk anybody. Leone at the end is like the only dude that was walking people. Besides that, it was pretty much just us getting a lot of hits. We out hit the Giants. We out hit them 10-7. Like it wasn't even particularly close. Pretty comfortably out hit them. We also had one, two, three, four walks in this one. By the end of it, they had one, two, three, four, 5 walks. So we had 2 more base runners than them on the game. But 10, and I said 4 walks. 14 base runners and only 3 runs is a little low. And even on their end, I mean, 12 base runners and 4 runs, that's not bad. But um, uh, really what it came down to, again, as we've talked about a lot, right, is the lack of extra base hits. And we had 4 doubles in this one. And that's it. No home runs, 4 doubles. Okay. All 4 doubles either directly led to scoring or were the most untimely doubles ever and led to nothing. Right? We had doubles with 2 outs, but we also had doubles that either that person ended up scoring, or RBI doubles, or whatnot, like the Willie Castro, like Jamer Candelario ground rule double, Willie Castro double, like that's 2 hits in a run, right? Like that's pretty close to best case scenario. So it's I I can't keep re-explaining this over and over again, and I don't think that people like aren't getting it, or are rejecting this theory or whatever. Like I think we all very much understand, but I just come on here and say the same thing every day, every single day. It's this team cannot hit ball go far, team go far. That's how baseball's played in 2022. I'm sorry, ball go far, team go far. And the ball do not go far for the Detroit Tigers. So here we are. Really, really sad and unfortunate, to be honest with you. So we're done. He looked great, though. I mean, he's a dog, and he's got really, really good stuff. So while this is a frustrating the offense was very frustrating, and it was frustrating to watch for everybody, myself included. It's not like I'm really scared for tomorrow, for today, as you're listening to this. I am terrified that 5.5 ERA and worse peripherals than Ronnie Garcia, Alex Wood is going to go out there and absolutely shove. I'm terrified. Like there are a few things that I'm more scared about right now than Alex Wood in Game 2 of this series. So some of the individual performances offensively, um, Robbie Grossman, I thought, look, man, like it really is just like at bat to at bat with him. His double was a great AB. His walk was a great AB. His 2 strikeouts were horrid. They were fastballs in the heart of the plate that he just swung under both times. Like it's beyond frustrating watching him at the dish right now. His OPS is now above 600. I guess that's great. Um, Javi goes 1 for 5 with a single that he tried to stretch into a double. I love the aggressiveness, but the rest of the game was kind of back to swinging that slider's way out of the strike zone like he has been all year. He had a couple of really good takes that I was like, whoa. But then he went right back to the slider, low and away nonsense. And so that's, well, 1 for 5. That's a 200 batting average, so not great. Miguel Cabrera, the big fella forever, man. He is the most timely hitter I've ever seen. It's remarkable how he is just able, anytime there's a runner on scoring position, it seems like even today, it's gonna be a single because there's no power left in there. But he's gonna find a way to bring dude home, and he did again, and it's unbelievably impressive. 2 for 4, still a 300 average, and an OPS over 700. We will gladly take that from Miggy in 2022. Riley Green, we're going to save till after. Spencer Torkelson, we're going to save till after. Willie Castro, couple of nice knocks. The one double that he drove into the gap too, like he very clearly was like ready for fastball, saw that was not a straight fastball, uh, gave it a little bit of time, sat on it, and then rocked it. It was a really, really impressive piece of hitting. He had a fantastic game. Jamer Candelario 2 for 3. It's the first time since he's come back from his injury where I've actually thought that he looked like confident and comfortable at the dish. Jonathan Scope, it's unavoidable. Jonathan Scope has been not good. And like this isn't breaking news to anybody. He's got a 540 OPS and a sub 200 batting average. But I mean, today was oof remarkable. Like it was alarming how lost he looked at the plate. It really was. So that was a thing. We're going to talk about Torque. I know everybody's screaming through the thing like, oh well, Torkelson was the same way. We're going to get to him after the break. Then Harold pinch hit and Eric Haas into the game defensively at the end and ended up getting an at bat. Sorry, I'm so sorry, y'all. Barnhart goes over. His OPS is barely over 500. So a lot of the same suspects that are doing well and the same suspects that are doing poorly. Like I said, we're going to talk about Riley and Torque after the break. First, though, I have got to tell y'all about the sports card investor thing I was telling y'all about in the intro. So they're fascinating. It's super cool. If you're a card junkie like I am, this is like the new up and coming like great app in that community. It's completely free. You can easily browse over 630,000 cards from every sport. There's hundreds more added each week. You can check the latest values of your favorite cards with 7-day or 30-day charts. You find the best prices and buy directly through the app with their eBay deals feature. So it's actually crazy cool. They gave us like a whole crash course of the app. I have the app now. You basically you go through and it tells you like based on like trends what cards are hot right now and what cards are low right now, and you kind of treat it, I don't want to say like the stock market because that's a little too like overused of an analogy, but it's crazy cool. It really is. And then there's a little arrow that says like how, how many people are buying it, how many spots up it is. Like there's a trending card section like on Twitter. Like it's really, really cool. If you're big into whether it's buying cards just to have, whether you're into flipping them, buying and selling, whatever. Like I'm deep into that, like especially with baseball cards, but they do it for all sports. It's really, really cool. So they have breakout stars, prospects that are debuting. You can find the value for great deals. We've seen, Riley Green's up now. Adley Rutschman's starting to find his stroke at the major league level. Like there's so many cool, and they also have like old players. There's people from times past, and it's really, really well put together. It's really practical and it's awesome. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, I have it myself now. It's a very cool. I I don't even like I don't know how people think of stuff like this. To be honest with you, like that's the first thing I'm like, where was this like when I was growing up? I would have bankrupt my parents. But download the Sports Card Investor app today. It's available for free in the Google Play and Apple stores, or go to sportsinvestor.com/locked on. All right, everybody. Welcome back to our second segment of Locked On Tigers. I feel like I'm talking in a library. Like I feel like you're listening to this and it's like soothing. Like I'm not trying to put you all to sleep. I'm really sorry if you're on like your way to work and you're like, holy cow, I can't keep my eyes open. This is just like this is as loud as I can get. This is as like not this is the best I can do. It's actually way worse than this even, but I'm like trying to fake it till I make it for half an hour at almost 2 o'clock in the morning now. So uh some of the offensive performances I wanted to highlight. Riley Green looks absolutely unbelievable at the plate. You know what? We're gonna end on good news. Spencer Torkelson looks lost. Um, it's not even honestly, it's not even that he looks lost because that's actually wrong. Forget I just said that. He 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 knows what he wants to swing at, and the pitches that he's choosing to swing at, by and large, is the right call. He's still drawing walks, he's still spitting on balls out of the zone. I would like him to be a little more aggressive for sure, but in general, as majority, I'm pretty okay with his pitch selection and well, the pitch selection that he's choosing to swing on, I'm pretty okay with. There is something, and it's been the stats, plural, are getting put out there by a lot more people. They're pretty easy to find on the Twitter sphere at this point. His numbers on balls literally right down the middle. Like when you break the strike zone into 9 squares, 5 literally heart of the plate right down the middle, his numbers are putrid. And currently, according to F4, he's one of the worst players in the entire game of baseball. And it's all because of hitting. And, he's a first baseman, so he doesn't get a positional adjustment like boost just for being a shortstop or whatever. He's a first baseman. He gets hit heavy in that department, and he's not hitting at all. So, really, really rough season for Torque. And again, I'm not telling you something you don't already know. Um, it's remarkable his inability to hit literally like 92 down the pipe, and it's just a pop up. It's a guaranteed pop up. And so I'm look, I still fully think Spencer Torkelson's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I think that he's going to be a middle of the lineup threat bat for the Detroit Tigers for hopefully a long time. But in 2022, something's not working. And where do you go from here? That's the question. Like, where do you go from here? How? So, I just got like a weird pain in my head. It's been a rough one. Um, like, what do you do? And like, the first thing is like, well, obviously you send him to AAA. After May, I was anti sending him to AAA. We talked about it on the show. I was like, he's struggling, but he's not like the worst hitter I've ever seen in my life at the major league level. I think he just needs to get major league timing down, right? In June, that's changed because he has plummeted. He was already struggling in April and May and already had an OPS plus that was well below 100. It's like catastrophic in June. I mean, with that, like, we are getting into the conversation of like some of the worst per month numbers in the entire game of baseball. And we already talked about his season numbers are some of the worst in the entire game of baseball. So at what point do you pull the plug and you just set him back down to AAA, get his timing back, and then bring him back up? Um, I don't know, but this game, on Tuesday night was some of the most just like hopeless at bats I think I've ever seen from him. It truly was remarkable how like every time he went up there, nobody in the arena, himself included, in my opinion, had any confidence that he was going to do anything in the box. It's some of the lowest that I've seen him, and it wasn't like he went over 3 with 3 Ks or over 4 with 4 Ks or whatever, but he had one strikeout and he had a walk in this game, which has never been a problem. His walk numbers are good because again, what he knows what he should be hitting. He's just not hitting it, which is the frustrating part. It's not like he's swinging at balls 3 feet out of the zone and taking, fastballs down the middle or anything. It's just like, golly. I mean, his on base percentage is almost 100 points higher than his average. That's good. But he also has a 290 slugging percentage. That's brutal. So I'm not saying that I necessarily still even like fully think that just sending him to AAA is gonna fix everything. Um, it might, but at this point, it's unavoidable to not talk about it. And it's unavoidable to where if it happens, no one has any right, myself included, to be like, oh, that's the wrong call. It's impossible. to just say that. It's impossible to completely blindly say, "Oh no, he needs to stay at the major league level no matter what." I still don't think if I was in charge that I would necessarily, but if they do it, that's a decision I would support at the same time. Does that make sense? The difference between those two things? Just because it's not what I would do doesn't mean that I don't understand the logic and think that it could be the right decision. And people that get paid to make those decisions probably make better decisions than I do because I get paid to talk about the people that make those decisions. I almost just ran myself out of breath. Hopefully that whole spiel made sense. Riley Green is absolutely incredible though. And we're gonna say this before we start talking about Tarik here in the final segment. Riley Green has been unbelievable since he got called up. And in this game, there's a legitimate argument that he took the four best at bats of the night. Three of the four best at bats of the night. The strikeout, sure. We'll kick that one to the curb. The other three at bats, the two hits and the walk, those legitimately may have been the three most impressive at bats from the Detroit Tigers team in the entire night. Or at least three of the top five. Maybe you want to put Miggy's RBI, golly, in there. Maybe Maybe you want to put Jamer. No, I mean Jamer's RBI. It was a nice hit, but full at bat, like first pitch to final pitch. He's just unbelievably impressive. I'm not just gonna think out loud and think about where to rank his at bats in this game, but it's a conversation, and that's all that matters. I'm so sorry, y'all. Okay, let's get into Tarik and then wrap this up so I can take a shower and go to bed. First, though, I got to tell y'all about our friends over at Blue Nile. They're the original online jewelers. We've talked about them before. We're going to keep talking about them. They do great work. And there's really the biggest thing is that there's two parts to a lot of jewelry, and that's popping the question or celebrating a milestone, whatever. You find jewelry as unique as her with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. They have simple online tools that let you choose the diamond's shape, size, clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft her perfect engagement ring. Each ring is one of a kind. If you're looking for fine jewelry but having trouble choosing, Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7. They're available via phone, chat, etc. They help you find memorable gift at every budget. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com. And Locked On Tigers listeners are getting $50 off of purchases $500 or more. This podcast exclusive includes engagement. So use code Locked On. That's code Locked On. Plus, every order is insured. Not sure where I got issued from. Insured. It ships free and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. So you can shop completely stress-free and find your forever piece at BlueNile.com today. Also, got to tell y'all about our friends over at RockAuto.com. With the ever-increasing numbers of makes and models, it's now impossible for your local chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. So why endure often pointless or seemingly intimidating questioning and wait while the person behind the counter orders parts on their warehouse that orders parts on their computer that their warehouse happens to carry? Just doesn't make sense. You have computers, you have access to rockauto.com at home and in your pocket. You can save time and money when using Rock Auto. Why would you choose to spend 30%, 50%, even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Go explore the easy-to-use website today. Find the solution for your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now, see all the parts available for your car or truck, and write Locked On in the How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we send you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. All right, we're back for our third and final segment. I want to apologize to our sponsors too, because there's no way that those weren't absolutely butchered. But here we are. The show has to go on. Like I said, I can't stand not doing it 2 days in a row, period. And I really can't after we play one of the games. It's what it's my job. So here we are. Okay. Tarik Skubal. We'll end on that. The first 3 innings were not great. The last 1 and 2/3 rather, I thought were solid. Um, the command is just not there. It's completely gone. The command on there's two individual things that his command is completely shot on. And next time he starts, watch for it. Okay, because it's been the thing for the last 5 starts that he's consistently losing command on. It is the slider, period, especially, golly, especially on Tuesday night. Especially on Tuesday night. The slider, no bueno. No bueno. The other one that has consistently been for the last, like, at least 4 of the last 5 starts off the top of my head, glove side fastballs. No command. No ability to go glove side with the heater, catcher glove side. Just no ability to go inside to righties, no ability to go away from lefties. As a lefty, you need to be able to go away from lefties. Lefties struggle with away from lefties. That's like their thing, unless you're Riley Green and you're just unbelievable. So that's a huge problem when those two things. And his changeup command in this one, he tried to throw a changeup a couple of times, smoked. It really was. The first 3 innings were rough. They were really rough. I thought the last inning and 2/3 was actually not bad, and had some pretty competitive pitches, had some strikeouts. He found a lot of success. He realized that he couldn't pinpoint anything on the inside to righties because of that glove side fastball command. So he just started going up with it. He was like, screw it. It doesn't really matter. I don't have to pinpoint anything. If it's just above the letters, that's like enough of a tease where batters are going to swing and try and chase it up. And I don't need it to be in a certain spot up. I just need it to be up. So he just went to that, and it worked. And he got a lot of strikeouts on it, actually. It ended this game 4 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs, 4 walks, and 5 Ks. 4 walks and 4 2/3 is brutal. It's off brand for Skubal, and it's brutal for anybody to take them out and do that. So I will say I really agree and appreciate the decision by Hinch to put him out there for the 5th. And I completely agree with the decision to pull him after the walk. Now, Willie Peralta then went in and proceeded to also have zero command of anything. And he was able to not, you know, draw walks, which I guess is something, but as a whole, brutal, right? But that doesn't mean that it was the wrong decision to pull Skubal. That's like not how any of this works. Just because Tarik Skubal got pulled and then the person that went in for him just completely imploded doesn't mean that the decision to pull Skubal, those are not correlated to each other. Right decision to pull Skubal, whether it was the wrong person to put in the game, whether Willie he honestly, his last 3 or 4 outings, I have not been very impressed with Willie Peralta. Still had 2 strikeouts in this one, got out of it, which is great. But yeah, command for him too lately. Been pretty rough. Andrew Chafin goes in, walks the leadoff hitter, then gets out of it. No problems, really. And then Joe Jimenez continues to look incredible. I know 2 of his outs were kind of decently hard hit balls to left field, but still 3 up, 3 down. He's been an absolute machine as of late, really most of the season. So I guess the only thing we'll end on is just with Skubal. It really is just the command. That's like it. Like, the stuff is still playing. The stuff does still play. He still has a very high ceiling. I mean, 13 whiffs and 4 2/3 ain't bad, right? 13 whiffs and 108 pitches. That's not anything to scoff at. The CSW percentage was 32%. That's like good. That's not even just like solid. That's really good for a 108 pitch outing. Almost 1 of every 3 pitches was a called strike or a swinging strike. The average exit velocity was 88.3 miles an hour. That's not horrific. That's not that bad. A little high, but it's not terrible. That like the peripherals for this outing aren't catastrophic or oh like he's lost it or oh this sucks. Like the stuff still plays. It's just his command lately has just really struggled. And that's why the usage on the slider, we saw at times this season where the slider was being thrown more than any other pitch comfortably. Now it's right in there, kind of in the 2 or 3 range. All comes down to command. All comes down to command. I think that's all I want to talk about. I think that's all I maybe physically can talk about. Thanks for making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Now make your second listen Locked On MLB Prospects. Host Lindsey Crosby is a prospect encyclopedia. He's going deep on the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your podcast. Thank you guys for putting up with me. I'm very, very sorry. Like I said, unavoidable, really, unfortunately. um, and hopefully today and yesterday were the peak of it, and it's starting to get better, and I won't have me sniffling in your ear and coughing and everything for the foreseeable future. I'm hoping that it's starting to get better from here on out, but I promise it has not been enjoyable for me. So I apologize that it's that unfortunately I'm in a position where when it's not enjoyable for me, it's not enjoyable for you. So I am very sorry. Hope I didn't ruin a morning. Yeah, Tigers tomorrow. Today, as you're listening to this, just don't get pieced up by Alex Wood, man. That's all I'm asking. I'm not even begging for a win. I just don't get embarrassed by Alex Wood. Put up 5, 6 runs off their starter for the love of everything. Golly. All right. I'm taking a shower and going to bed. Love y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Like I said, I apologize yet again, and hopefully tomorrow we'll be feeling a little bit better. Hopefully. Regardless, we'll be back then. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers.